We are Five Alive. I am Bobby T.
And I'm Martin. And today we're going to play America's favorite game show, Who's the Jannetty?
Oh, it's going to be good.
So, I'm sure you're asking what we mean by Who's the Jannetty. If for those who don't know, Marty Jannetty was part of a famous tag team in the 80s known as the Rockers with Shawn Michaels, before Shawn Michaels was Shawn Michaels. And then he cowardly jumped through a barbershop window to avoid a kick by Shawn Michaels, therefore ending the Rockers.
It was. I remember at the time it was fairly epic. So now this actually we have to explain a little bit about our history as, I guess, as wrestling fans.
Yes.
I was a wrestling fan from about the age of 5 years old, so about 1984, 1985, until around 2004, 2005, when I just completely fell out of wrestling. I got back into it this year's SummerSlam, just before SummerSlam.
Right.
Now, you, on the other hand...
I watched wrestling here and there when I was a child, but I was never into it because my family would make too much fun of me for watching it. So, I started watching it a bit, like the late 90s, early 2000s, when it got real terrible. When WWE bought WCW and it all started sliding downhill. That's when I became a fan. Quickly fell out because it was so bad.
Oh, yeah.
And then got back into it with CM Punk.
Okay. So
Punk's what brought me back in.
Knowing where our references kind of come from, we will talk about the first tag team, the Rockers.
Yes. So, I want to make this clear. By calling someone a Jannetty, we're not saying they're terrible or a jobber or anything like that. They're just lesser than. So,
Marty Jannetty himself was an Intercontinental Champion without Shawn Michaels. He actually won it, I believe, from Shawn Michaels.
I believe so. It's best way to put this is Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan. Scottie Pippen's still a Hall of Famer and still an excellent basketball player. He just ain't Michael Jordan.
He's not by a stretch.
So, with that in mind, what do you say we go through some classic tag teams? We'll try and identify the Jannetty. We'll start with a super easy one, Harlem Heat.
Oh, that's Stevie Ray all day long. The man of the power slam.
Yes.
So
for those who don't know, Harlem Heat was a tag team from WCW, starring Stevie Ray and the five-time champion Booker T. They were brothers in real life, obviously,
this is just so you know, this is one of my favorite tag teams of all time.
Obviously, one of them got all of the talent.
I am BobbyT 5-time for a reason.
And all of the charisma.
Oh, yes, and Booker T took it all. So much so, I mean, it really, I love Booker T. Stevie Ray might be one of the worst wrestlers ever. He's also a terrible promo.
Yeah.
So this is a weird, because he's a weird type
so
of
on the Jannetty scale, he's real far down. He's almost jobber. He's almost a jobber. Yes. The only thing that saved him from being a jobber was he was big and he was Booker T's brother.
And his brother was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some matches where you really see Stevie Ray is just tags in, does one power slam, one kick. He's winded. He falls into Booker T. Booker T comes in for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, Booker T.
Out,
Booker T puts on a magic show in the middle of the ring.
Oh, pretty much. And then here comes Stevie Ray towards the end of the match to power slam into
the finish. Yeah,
the finish.
It's
so that's really
that is the I would say the biggest difference as far as between partners between Michaels and Jannetty.
But here's the thing: when I think Jannetty, I think somebody who is just a little lesser than, and
right,
in this given the same spotlight.
So maybe this
wasn't given a chance. I don't think Stevie Ray is a Jannetty. Stevie Ray is just a terrible,
an abomination. You've heard it here first, folks.
The worst, yeah. I'm getting better at graphics. It's going to say abomination. So I guess we move on.
Here's a tougher one. From your glory days, Haas and Benjamin.
Okay.
So Charlie Haas.
This is one
Shelton Benjamin. Go ahead.
Okay. I had to take a breath so I don't go off on this for like 30 minutes. So I absolutely love this tag team. I know Charlie Haas's brother had died, and then that led him to kind of falling into the Benjamin Kurt Angle stable. Everything really worked out. These guys were amazing. I think that Haas himself is the Jannetty, and it's just because Shelton Benjamin is really phenomenal. Like,
See,
it's the gold standard.
this is my biggest problem. He is the gold standard. He did nothing. This is whereas Stevie Ray and Booker T are diametrically opposed. These two are very much next to each other because I honestly believe Haas is just as good as Benjamin. He just didn't get the push that Benjamin got.
He absolutely didn't. Or
So.
did he? Is it that he got the same push and didn't do as much with it?
This is true. Very
so,
true.
Either way, Shelton Benjamin, if you could please come back soon, American Alpha needs you to locate them. Maybe you could join Brazando.
Trying to figure that out.
And try to figure out where American Alpha is.
So if you can see here, viewers, obviously we have some Jannetties, these two right here, but we also have some teams Jannetties. So let's go through those quickly. The Steiner Brothers.
Steiner Brothers. Now, this is where I believe we're going to differ. We saved this for this moment. I like Rick Steiner. I love Rick Steiner, actually. I always loved when I was a kid. He was just weird. I mean, and this is back in NWA WCW days. I just loved these guys. They were so cool. But in this case, given the same opportunities in the same spotlight, Scott Steiner became a multi-time world champion, a multi-time U.S. champion, a multi-time everything champion. And Rick Steiner was Scott Steiner's brother.
Yeah. That having been said, I hate Scott Steiner.
I, in no way am I supporting Scott Steiner in his latter years. Although I do think Steiner math might be one of the funniest things I've ever
well, of
seen
course,
in my whole
because
life.
it's bat crap insane.
Oh man, it's just that equation. I wonder what the final number is. I'm gonna have to do that math.
It's there's a website that breaks down rap lyrics and gives you the meaning behind all of them. And they started doing wrestling promos, and the first one they did is Steiner Math, and it is
We have to find this.
fabulous.
I have to
If you've
find
never
this.
seen Steiner Math, I cannot recommend looking up Steiner Math. It is
I'll
a
have to put a link in the comments.
it is a promo from TNA when Scott Steiner was at his. I would
Peak?
say
Would we call this a peak?
loopiness, loopiest.
It's like when you're climbing Everest. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get to the top and
Yep.
you're like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But then he
Altitude
just
sickness
stayed up there
from
for a long time. All right, so now the next in a group of Jannetties here, we have C-3PO.
Decidedly the Jannetty.
He is the Jannetty.
He is the Jannetty.
I mean, R2 at least got to keep his memory the entire time.
Yeah.
Which
C-3PO continually loses his memory.
He does. Here's the thing: R2, total scumbag. He knew this all the whole time. He knew what was going on. Didn't say a word.
That's why he's great. That's why he's the HBK. Total scumbag.
Yeah, no, he sounds a little more like Joe Paterno, but I think we're going to skip on to the Dudleys next. And another one, a really successful tag team.
Yes.
Separately, Devon did hold belts.
Yeah, but it was nothing like Bubba.
It was nothing like Bubba.
Bubba comes on to the Bully Ray thing. It goes on to be a multi-time world champion in TNA. Granted, it's TNA, but it still counts.
Hey,
And
championship's
so I'd say, unfortunately, Devon's the Jannetty.
Now moving on to the
Hearts.
The Hearts. We originally said the Heart Foundation. It's not just
It's
the
just
Heart
the Hearts.
Foundation. It's the Hearts.
Yeah.
And that
It
is
is
Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Jim the Jannetty Neidhart.
Ooh, that's a stab to his Neidhart, I guess.
Yeah, no, he's decidedly the Jannetty.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
which
matter
Hart
what
is
you
in the
part.
ring.
You could put him in the ring with Bruce Hart, and he'd still be
still
the
the
Jannetty.
He would still he'd still have the same gimmick of like, let me play with my beard now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he'd jump through a glass window.
So,
to avoid a kick.
so this brings up a more interesting question. Among the Hearts, who's the Jannetty? Because I have to say, as great as Brett is, because of Owen's passing and the reverence because of said passing, I think Brett has played himself into becoming the Jannetty.
So he worked himself into a Jannetty shoot.
He lived long enough to become the Jannetty.
Holy shit. I don't know if I have to delete that or what?
I will.
that
I
was-
will walk away if you delete that.
Oh yeah, no, I can't. That's too good. No, we're leaving that in. It stays. Holy hell, that was amazing.
All right, so
now
let's.
we're gonna go on to somebody who we had to save it to talk about. Brutus, the barber beef.
I do not agree with this at all.
Ed
You are.
Leslie.
You are.
All of his.
You are
names.
demeaning the name of Marty Jannetty by putting him in the
But I
same
wanna-
conversation
but I wanna debate
as
this.
Ed freaking Leslie.
Okay. He is Hogan's lapdog.
Yeah.
Hogan always
Uh-huh.
obviously being
Lapdog,
number one.
not Jannetty.
But on his own, he's held. He's had the Intercontinental title. He's had title
Because
shots.
he was
He's
Hogan's
had-
lapdog.
Yeah.
Jannetty didn't get his IC shot because he was Hogan's lapdog. Jannetty got his IC shot because they gave him an IC shot.
This is true. Okay.
Name one thing Ed Leslie had received
Suck
because
it,
he was
Beefer.
because he was beefer. Nothing. Nothing.
Just
he
nothing.
he was
Okay.
able to
You win this one. You win this one today.
he was able to clear the Boston Tea Station once because of cocaine he left behind that someone mistook for anthrax. That is the lifetime accomplishments of Ed Leslie sans Hogan.
Without Hulk Hogan.
All right, so let's go through this quick.
Okay.
Shield.
Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, I hate you, and you're right. He really is. I
He
love
is.
me some Dean Ambrose, but he
gonna happen.
really is. Yeah. Evolution.
God, so many titles.
I have to say it's Bautista.
It's got to be Batista, right? Because Orton's
And
still
again,
going.
I
He's still
love
winning
me some
titles.
Batista. I really do. Not
He
just
is,
not wrestling
I-
Batista. Actor Batista is great. Hardy's.
Hardy's win. And that's the question.
See, I don't know. I don't think it's a when question. I think it's a what question.
What
In ring,
version?
in ring,
Oh,
it's Matt. Promo, it's Jeff.
It's Jeff. Yep, absolutely.
Ian C.
It switches, yeah. So who's the next one?
Ian C. Edge and Christian.
Christian. I mean, it's got to be Christian.
Oh, it's always 100%
Christian,
Christian.
yeah.
All day, every day.
And it sucks because I love
Which,
Christian,
oh no,
so
I
it
love me
kills
some
to
Christian
say
as
some of
well.
these things.
Yep, Brainbusters. Now, the Brainbusters, for those who do not know, are...
It's Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a tough one. I'm going to say Tully Blanchard, if only because he got them kicked out of WWF way back when.
And he doesn't have Aloha Arn named after him.
He doesn't. He doesn't. He's got like very few belts in comparison, whereas Arn is going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I think
He'll be in multiple times.
Right, but I
Blanchard
think
just isn't.
that's more due to, and again, not to diss Arn's abilities or anything, but I think that's just more to Ric Flair's. Ric Flair too. I think it's not as bad as Beefer because Arn could actually carry a match, but I think that's more of it. But that brings up the Four Horsemen.
Now there's so many
Steve
incarnations
McMichael.
it's Steve McMichael if we're talking all of all time. I'd say maybe Barry Windham.
Yeah,
is
unfortunately,
definitely in
because he
there.
was so talented. But yeah,
Well, now actually I'm going to throw one in there that we didn't talk about earlier.
Okay.
And that would be Strikeforce. Tito Santana and Rick Martel, and now I think the answer is actually Rick Martel.
it is
And
it is the reason.
Because,
It-
I am a huge mark for Rick Martel. He is amazing everywhere except for the WWF, and it's a lot of Hogan's doing.
Yes.
But he was multi-time NWA champion. Like everywhere this kid went, he was the champion.
And then he got
Then
to the
he got
WWF
here
and
he-
just languished.
He put it out.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Tito stayed relevant. Well, I guess relevant within that era.
Yeah.
Continued to stay relevant until he just kind of disappeared because he became obscure. Whereas the model just had to go to WCW because what am I going to do next?
Exactly.
So
Legion of Doom,
this is actually
the
interesting.
one who
too.
died.
So I think that it's very easy to say that it was Hawk that was the Jannetty,
Mm-hmm.
but that's wrong. I think that it's Animal that was the Jannetty. It's just he hung around for so long
That you forget.
that you forgot that
I see.
Because
So it's
when
the opposite of the Hearts.
it's yes. So when Hawk went over to Japan and he got together with
Oh yeah, yep, okay, yeah.
So and they were the Hellraisers.
Yep.
So over there he was super over in the Hellraisers. He comes back and everything he's back with Animal and LOD's back on the run. In the time when Hawk was gone. Animal did nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
negative
he was
nothing.
collecting on an insurance
And
payment, but I
then-
understand.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
he took like 4 years or so, and he was injured,
Right.
and then he came back. So he comes back with Hawk, and he's something again. Then Hawk gets hurt. The tag team starts to struggle. Hawk dies, and
Yep.
all this happens. And you have this coding of LOD where you forget that, wait a minute, Animal's the Jannetty.
Yeah.
Because then they started putting with Heidenreich and Draz, who are just like absolute trash. So in comparison to these,
Yeah. I
this
get
Jannetty
I
looks
see.
like an HBK, but
that is-
that's
oof.
not what it
That
is.
That is some excellent analysis by you. Now do Demolition.
That's actually pretty easy, actually. That's, I would say Smash.
I don't care.
It's a good
That's my answer. Is I could give less than a crap.
Smash would be the Jannetty, because he
Right.
kept trying and it just never went
Now,
anywhere.
see, because I didn't
Repo
watch,
Man,
because I
Barry
didn't watch
Darstyle.
WWE in the '80s, all Demolition is to me is crap. I just don't care.
Oh, they're really bad in retrospect, but at the time they were pretty awesome.
I'm sure. The Usos.
Can they both be Jannetties? I'm going to say double Jannetty. Genetic. Geneticy?
Jannetty.
Next.
Jannetty since day one.
Day one Jannetty-ish.
Yes. New Day.
That is all HBKs.
I think that really is.
I think that's all HBKs.
it really is. There's
And-
no one in there who's not good.
You've actually brought this up before. Martin brought this up before, saying that Xavier Woods was quoted saying that he would very gladly never wrestle again if he could put forth Kofi, put Kofi up on this pedestal to become the champion.
Yeah. Kofi said it about Big E. Big E said it about
All three of
yeah,
them are
they're
that
just
good.
they're all there for them for
And
each other.
I think because of that, that makes each of them better, and because they keep getting better together, and you
They
have that
all-
competitive
yeah.
nature, they just keep getting better and better and better.
They're all HBKs. Huh?
They're all HBKs.
Shame Zaro.
Jannetty's by them. How do you Jannetty yourself?
So single Jannetties
So they're Jannetty
together
as singles.
Michaels.
They're double HBKs
Ooh.
in the ring together, but they are Jannetties on their own
That's
all day long. It's the
intriguing.
weirdest. It's the weirdest dynamic.
All right. Well, I think we saved the best for last. The 4 Horsewoman.
Okay.
So let's just for those who don't know, 4 Horsewomen are Bailey, Becky, Sasha,
And Charlotte.
and Charlotte. Obviously, the front runner out from Go is Charlotte. Just because of who she is. But Sasha just has something. I don't know what it is.
Sasha something is going to come back. Right now, it's on hiatus. I don't think we have to worry about her. Who I'm worried about in all of this is Becky.
Yeah, she's kind of getting left by the.
She's starting
the
to
wayside.
she's starting to fall back.
Yep.
And it's you're starting to see her less on SmackDown, and when you do, she's just fodder being fed to somebody.
Yeah. Which is funny because when you look at the SmackDown Women's division, she really is the only pure face they have, and it's like they don't know what to do with her.
They just don't. Well, going back to your unpopular opinions,
Yeah.
they can't Daniel Bryan her at this point.
Yeah, no, she's too good. And they can't just beat her
It's
into
too-
submission.
yeah, it's a little
so
too
then
late,
you've got Becky. She's the pure face, but they don't know what to do with her. They force turn Charlotte in one of the worst force turns ever. And because she's not a face, Charlotte is not a face,
Charlotte's not a face.
and like Sasha can pull face off. She's a much better heel,
She's
but
got
she
charisma.
can do face.
Yep.
Charlotte can't do face.
Sasha is a mean girl heel, but she's a perfect face.
Yeah.
Like she just appeals.
yeah.
I think, and I've said this before, Charlotte, if you ever see this, please watch Game of Thrones. Just Cersei. Be Cersei. And I think that's all.
If Charlotte ever does watch this, it's not happening.
Charlotte, watch our video.
I have to say, like, because obviously, as of the 4, the perfect face is Bailey. I really want to see Bailey's heel.
That turn would be really weird. I don't know how you'd do it.
It'd be super weird, but I want to see it. I would really, really like to see it.
I don't even know how you do it.
All right. So, anyways, if you have any, obviously, this is all just two fat men's opinions. They mean nothing to anyone. Our
The
wives,
opinion of Ed Leslie,
exactly.
Mr. Beef.
Our
himself.
wives don't listen to us, so we talk to each other.
That's pretty much what our lives have become.
If you have any suggestions for Who's the Jannetty or any, obviously, any differing opinions, please let us know in the comments below. Also, at 5 Alive VP, Twitter, Instagram, and the Facebook. Anything else, sir?
Facebook. So it's French Facebook.
Exactly.
I think you need to say.